Hello, and welcome back to our channel, Screenplay Recaps. Today I will recap the crime and thriller movie called Home Sweet Hell. So let's dive into it. The film begins in a pleasant and peaceful residential area, where a stunning lady is heading toward her home. Let's meet the perfect family of four. Mona has OCD and is highly disciplined. She wants everything to be clean and flawless. Mona is a controlling and dominating wife who demands that everything be done according to her expectations. She even sets goals for everyone to accomplish. On the other hand, Dawn is a desperate and frustrated spouse who works as a manager at Mona's furniture showroom. A few days ago, Dawn published a job advertisement for a salesperson online. A girl named Dusty arrived for the salesman interview at the workplace during business hours. From the second she entered the office, Dawn had a crush on her.
Yeah, baby. She's the one, boss.
Dawn's pal and an employee Les recommended him to hire her right away. Because they both have loveless marriages, therefore they need eye candy in the office. However, Dawn decided to hire her before Les offered his advice. Later in the evening, when Dawn returns home, he discovers Mona is using a toothbrush to clean the kitchen because everything has to be stainless and spotless. She asks him if he has hired someone. Dawn replies yes. She instructs him to fix the lawn because her parents are coming to visit on the child's birthday. Afterward, they go to bed. Mona takes out her scrapbook and explains the goals that must be accomplished. Meanwhile, Dawn is eager to make love with her, but Mona sweetly reminds him that they will make love according to the planned schedule. Not right now, and they fall asleep. The next day, Dusty made her first transaction. She gets excited and hugs Dawn, while hugging Dawn's face resembles a dog with a bone. Mona asks the kids about their French lessons at the dinner table in the evening. Andrew is struggling, whilst Allison is thriving. In terms of Allison's performance, Mona is delighted. When Mona asks about the performance of the new salesman, Dawn accidentally responds that she is doing well.
Her?
Dawn stated that she is a vital asset to the organization and that it requires her services. Nonetheless, it is evident that Mona doesn't like it. Moreover, a criminal named Murphy, who just killed someone for money, watches a television commercial of Dawn's furniture shop and decides to make him his next victim for the ransom. The following morning, Mona and the kids visit the store. Murphy and his crew appear to follow Dawn and his wife's activities. Due to the 40% sale campaign, the store is packed with consumers. Mona visits Dawn's office after the event to congratulate him on reaching his sales goal. Dawn enthusiastically accepted the opportunity and quickly shut the door. Mona repressed his emotions by saying she meant at home, not here. However, Dawn becomes irritated and begins ranting at her, reminding her that he has needs that must be met as a man. As a result, Mona instructs him not to return home tonight. That night, Dawn fulfills his desires by giving himself pleasure while looking at Dusty's picture in the office. However, the following morning Dusty comes to the office earlier than the duty hours. Everything seems to be going well until Dusty shows up at Dawn's home party and drops the pregnancy bomb on his head. Dawn is terrified of what Mona will do to him. The worst part is that Dusty wants to retain the child and wants Dawn to take care of kid. Mona comes on to him because their scheduled date night is tonight. However, Dawn denies her, due to Dusty's pregnancy trauma. As a result of this, Mona plunged into deep thinking. The following day, Dusty confronts Dawn and explains the pregnancy difficulties in his office. Dawn gives her money immediately to quit this crazy relationship. Dusty, however, was insulted and promptly left the office. Later, he meets with Les to get some counsel again. Les advises him to inform Mona about his romance with Dusty instead of giving Dusty money, and, most crucially, to determine whether or not she is pregnant. Dawn responds that this is the ultimate insanity. However, it seems like Dawn has no choice except to confront Mona.
Spit it out,
I've been having an affair at the store with Dusty, the sales girl.
When Mona unexpectedly opens her scrapbook in a fit of rage, she concludes it's all about money. Therefore, Dawn must eliminate Dusty. Mona is dead serious about getting rid of her, despite Dawn's first assumption that she is bluffing. Whatever he is today, Mona recalls, is a result of her and her family's support. Therefore, he must finally act like a man and execute her. On the other hand, when Dusty gets home, what a turn of events that the mobster Murphy is Dusty's lover. We now understand the pregnancy saga. It's all about the cash. Murphy inquired about the extortion money. Dusty says that Dawn only promises $13,000 since he has no more cash. Murphy pushed her to demand a minimum $25,000, or he would deal with him personally. As a result, Dusty contacted Dawn and demanded that $25,000 be paid by tomorrow, or else Dusty would alert Mona about their relationship. Mona instructs Dawn to accept the offer, and Dawn consents to Dusty's requests. Dawn has no option but to follow Mona's commands.
There is only ever my way.
The following day, Mona prepared the drug mixture containing the tablets that would be used to put Dusty to end. Mona delivered the medicine to Dawn before leaving to pick up the kids from school. After a while, Dusty eventually packed her belongings and headed to Dawn's office. Dusty gets to the point straight and asks where the money is, so she can leave quickly and forget whatever occurred. Dawn pours the beverages to commemorate their breakup. When Dusty sips the liquor, she becomes disoriented since the medicine is so strong that it responds so quickly. After realizing she had been drugged, Dusty attempted to flee Dawn's office, but she couldn't go far and collapsed. Dusty claimed she was trying to escape from certain people before passing away.
Mona made you do it.
Mona then directs him to put her in the trunk and drive her home. When they arrive, Dawn gets terrified as he opens the trunk and discovers that Dusty is still alive. Finally, Mona orders Dawn to grab the hammer and end her misery. Regrettably, Mona is overwhelmingly excited to get rid of her. Mona seems to be a heartless person.
Give it to me. I'll do it. Open that trunk!
So Mona enthusiastically ends her with a hammer like a psychopathic killer. Dawn immediately walks to the bathroom to throw up while in addition, Murphy is also anxiously anticipating Dusty's return. He is making several assumptions, including that either something is wrong or she ran away with the money. The following day, when Dawn arrives at the shop, discovers police are interrogating wounded Les. The police chief notified Dawn that they had found Dusty's torched automobile and inquired about Dusty's location. Dawn said that he hadn't seen her in a week. Les begins asking Dawn questions as the police chief departs, and Dawn responds that he is also unsure and concerned about her. After that, when Dawn arrives home in the evening, he finds Murphy chatting with his son Andrew outside the garden. Dawn instantly runs outdoors and discovers that Murphy has given his kid a letter and a burner phone. The letter includes a picture of his family and the club address where they must meet to talk business. Dawn promptly seeks Mona for her opinion on the matter. Mona says don't worry, she will take care of the matter. Despite Mona's exceptional calmness and relaxation, Dawn is worried and insists that we cannot kill another person. The following day, Dawn heads to the club to see Murphy. Murphy comes to the point straight and inquires about Dusty's location. Dawn responds by saying that he handed her money and hasn't heard from Dusty since. Murphy needs the money, so he tells Dawn that if he does not give him $20,000 by tomorrow, he will go to his house and deal with his family, and the visit will not be friendly. Dawn comes out of the club and warns Mona that they must pay $20,000, otherwise, Murphy will react aggressively against the entire family. Mona says she has a strategy. They must dig up Dusty to get rid of these mobsters. They arrive at Dusty's residence later in the evening. Mona, being the stronger of the two, wants to accomplish the task herself, and asks Dawn to remain in the car to keep an eye on things, and notify her if someone approaches. Mona sneaks inside Dusty's trailer and attempts to put the remaining of Dusty's in the refrigerator. Meanwhile, one of the Murphy gang members comes unexpectedly with his girlfriend. Dawn attempts to contact Mona, but she has left her phone in the car. Mona takes hold of the kitchen knife and ducks into a nook. Mona tries to sneak away as the mobster enters the room, but the girl catches her. Mona eventually executes both of them. She then rushes to the car and uses the burner phone to contact the police to report the disturbance. On the other hand, while taking his final breaths, the mobster contacts Murphy to inform him about Mona. Murphy immediately reaches the trailer home and finds out it is all set up. Unfortunately, the officers arrive just in time, and Murphy's companion is shot in the crossfire. Nevertheless, Murphy manages to flee the crime scene. The police chief pays a visit to Dawn's house the next morning as he's cleaning the car. The police officer informed him that Dusty's body had been discovered. Furthermore, one of the criminals is still at large, while the other two were killed. Finally, the officer indicated that he came to inquire about Dawn's meeting with Murphy at the club. Dawn admits to having an extramarital affair with Dusty and not wanting Mona to learn about it. He thus met Murphy and gave him cash so that he would keep quiet.
We don't want Mona to find out.
Dawn then inquires Mona whether her parents did anything horrible to her when she was a child. Mona burst into tears and proclaimed her parents to be the ideal parents. She was never hit or hurt by them. Dawn promptly embraces her. Mona declares her love for him. However, if he ever talked to her like that again, she'd kill him like Dusty. Dawn recognizes the threat Mona poses him. The next day, they celebrate Andrew's birthday party and invite a handful of guests. During the contest, Mona accuses the competition of being biased, pulls Les's son away from the stick, and even taunts Les's wife. Les said to Mona that she is mentally ill. Mona then gives the stick to Andrew, who fails to reach the goal despite his best attempts. Allison eventually took command and shatter it. Allison's commitment and desire to attain her goals thrill Mona to the point of ecstasy. As a result, Mona treats Allison better than Andrew. Dawn watched the entire drama. Mona's madness is getting worse day by day. He can't bear the discrimination with his kids. So he decides to take matters into his own hands and heads to the garage, where he causes an electric line fault that sparks and also causes the gas tanks to overflow. Dawn immediately rushes back to the kitchen, where Mona suggests they must go on vacation to escape this madness. Dawn nods in agreement and requests Mona bring beef from the refrigerator in the garage while he goes to check the grill. As Mona gets inside, Dawn promptly sneaks out. When Mona switches on the lights, an explosion obliterates everything within. After some days, we witness Dawn happily living with the kids and taking advantage of the fortune Mona left for them. But he neglects Murphy entirely, who is on the loose. When Dawn leaves the house with the kids, Murphy follows them. So that was home sweet hell. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on the notification so you won't miss the next recap. Until then, cheers!